Okay.
Hey, welcome back to Episode 3 of Outside the Box Podcast.
Today I'll be your host, and on today's episode, it'll be a bit related to our previous ones. As you might have saw in our first episode, we dealt with how to deal with drug trafficking. In our second episode, we dealt with racial discrimination, and now we'll be tying both of those together in a sort of manner. When it comes to border security, we've learned that detention centers are a huge factor of it. More specifically, how the immigrants are treated in there. So today I'll be asking all of you, how do you think immigrants are being handled in the detention centers?
Pretty good actually, because in America, if you commit a felony, you get separated from your children. IG, let's say I'm a drunk driver, right? I get arrested for DUI and I have a kid in my, a kid or like in my backseat, right? I'm gonna be separated from the child if I've committed a felony. And these illegals, they're doing a felony by crossing the border illegally.
Well, for me, I wait. Can you repeat the question, real quick, just to be sure if my
Yeah.
answer is correct?
How do you think immigrants are being handled in detention centers?
Oh, that's a good question. To be honest, since the last episode was discrimination, I feel like this is similar. Obviously, um, I guess this tensions are like pretty bad because a lot of people, well, let's just say like undocumented immigrants, who like are like struggling and end up facing like with the police or with ICE. It will be really tense because they could either be like physically or mentally like hurt, or even worse, they will get deported back to their own countries without their childs because they get separated from their children as well, and from those children they'll end up going to those shelters. So I guess overall this is a pretty bad situation. So I
Yeah,
hope this could
Now,
respond.
what if I told you that being deported was one of the least of their worries?
really.
I
With
mean,
least of
Well, yeah,
obviously, right?
if they
Because
already got,
detention centers facilities are way
Oh well,
worse.
yeah, that's true. Like specifically for the children, right? Because the majority of the children are in those shelters, no?
Not even children, even the adults too. I'll even hit you with a
Oh,
fact right now. In the last 5 years, as of May 5th, 36,000 immigrants are being held in detention centers.
mm,
Well, I mean, it's obviously they're gonna hold the distance because we don't even know who they are, though. The thing, when you come here illegally, America doesn't know who you are. You might be a terrorist, you might be a rapist, a murderer. I mean, it
or a
happened
cartel
before.
member or something like that, or a
Yeah.
cartel member.
There's countless reports
That is a great point.
of illegal immigrants raping children in America. Lots of reports. So I'm gonna see if I can
Right,
find one
and
right
also
now.
ties back.
but wouldn't, since like if that situation, wouldn't that like relate to like the social concept we learned in our sociology class, where it was like uh, int- internalized and personal mediated racism?
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's not really racism. It's only because of recognition of patterns. If I see that lots of these people that are raping people or killing people are illegals, well, obviously I would have no records against them.
Yeah, so wouldn't
That's
that
how it
be
works.
personal mediated?
Well, that would really be a bad thing, though.
Yeah, I know. I'm just
It's pattern.
like personal mediated means like it's neither intentional or unintentional. It's just like thoughts, like what happens.
Look, I'm gonna give you a
That's an
report right
interesting
now.
point. However, this ties back into my second fact for you all, in which 61% of ICE immigrants have no criminal record. Do you still see this mass detention center facility holdings justified, or do you consider it inhumane when you
Well,
have
obviously
facts
they
like
have.
that to back it up?
Well, obviously they have no criminal record because they burned their papers. They burned all their identification once they crossed through the border, bro.
I feel like this is like inhumane because it obviously like if those undocumented people have no, like let's just say no crime or like records. I mean, they're like those type of people are probably here just to get a better life and all, because they want to like kind of forget like their not like their background, but like their bad past. Let's just say like in their own home countries, they've probably been experiencing bad things like the drugs, the cartel, and mostly gangs at the same time. So I feel like it's inhuman how how the fact the ICE will treat them bad, even though they're only here just to survive perfectly in a so-called in this country a safe place.
Well, we can only assume that though, because the thing is that with these illegals, right? The whole legal process here to make sure people, America knows what are these people are gonna be in America for. For the illegals, I mean, sure, I see that a lot of them will like coming for a better life, right? But we can only assume that though. There's not really any way to really back it up though.
I mean, yeah,
I'm gonna give you
Yeah,
an example right here. Four migrants robbed and strangled a man on the Pink Line, Chicago police say. February 18th, 2024.
I mean, yeah, there are varying cases, but I think overall, like generally, it's inhumane to just like put these punishments on them,
Well, it's
just
not really
for
a
like.
punishment. This is thing called a detention center to detain them while ICE or whoever the hell what's it called manages them, like investigates them to make sure like their records and everything if they have a record.
Now, what would
yeah.
you
Plus now,
consider inhumane treatment in these facilities?
I
oh,
guess
you're asking me or everyone
Any of you, whoever
it
likes to answer.
beating them, depriving them of food and water.
yeah,
Yeah,
just like depriving them of their human rights. I mean, like even though they're not citizens, I think the Constitution should still like be enacted. You know.
Would
What?
any of you be surprised to learn that there's neglect going on these facilities?
Well, of course there is. Anything that's managed by a government entity is always going to be mismanaged.
Yeah, I agree. Like, there's definitely is neglect.
So, what could you see yourself having an issue with these facilities?
I mean, I
Can you repeat
wouldn't
the
say.
question again, bro?
Oh,
So, could you see yourself having an issue with these facilities?
Me personally, no, not really.
yeah, I agree. I wouldn't have any like issues myself, like personally, because I don't think I would get into trouble like that. I mean, I'd probably only get like parking tickets or something, but I doubt I would be in like those detention centers.
Uh, personally for me, I mean, kind of what pretty much Michael already said. The whole thing, I wouldn't like care, I guess, because for me personally, um, I'm I'm like a U.S. citizen, so I guess I won't. Well, for me, in my opinion, usually like when there's a problem like this, I would just kind of like step away, like not like this ain't my business and all. So so
Yeah,
my
I could see where you're all coming from.
yeah. So do you have
However,
any
this
questions
brings me
for
to
us?
my questions.
Uh-huh. Like
Yeah, comes to my final point. So, in
okay.
order to solve this ongoing issue, we know that one of the main things we could do is raise awareness. However, we
Hmm.
always know that raising awareness isn't enough to solve these issues.
Like,
So then I ask all of you, what can you do in your situation right now in order to help with those having ongoing issues in detention centers?
obviously, you
And I don't.
said like raising awareness is literally what we're doing right now by making this podcast.
Hmm.
That's
So
correct.
like what you're saying is like like make this like show this like through media or like saying this like in public, basically like showing the community what's going on in the real world. Is that what you're trying to say? And like post it in the media?
Right, basically, like what could you do to that extent?
Also, just yeah, and I gotta get what we can do for like if you want to try to get like traction for this issue, what you gotta do is appeal to people's hearts. For example, interviewing like illegals and asking them like their experiences with detention centers, stuff like that.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that. Like, just getting people's like opinions on it and like having them back you up.
Yeah.
And people always fall for emotions. Don't always just like saying like a sob story and everything, but people just fall for you, man.
I mean, I wouldn't say fall. I would say like they're able to connect more. No, they feel more
Yeah.
empathy and stuff.
All right, then I think that wraps up today's podcast. We have some wonderful answers, and maybe we might have left with some questions. So that's all
Mm.
for today. Bye.
Thank you.
All
See
right,
you guys in the
thank
next
you.
episode.
Thank you. See you later.